stars, and that's who we are. We are voices. There's nothing to fear. Explode in your rear. Feel our voices.
Oh no, that explosion killed Carl!
And now we're down to one.
Dun 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 dun. Welcome to Voice the Republic. I'm the only one here. My name is Ed.
And I'm the ghost of Carl Past.
How you doing, sweet Carl?
Oh, not too shabby. How about yourself, Ed?
I could complain, but I won't. That's
It just doesn't do any good, does it? People don't listen.
No, nobody cares.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing about the internet. It's just like 5 people love their life, and then just everyone else just complains all the time.
Pretty much. And, I mean, hey, that's what I give back to, so it's only fair. Speaking of other lives, yeah, sorry, once again, Mike can't make it. Life is rough, and he sends his love and kisses and other little dirty things that keep you awake at night. So, sorry.
Secret whispers.
Careless whispers.
Ooh.
It does not get old.
Speaking of saxophone, this week we're talking about Mad Max. There's a lot of saxophone in it. I mean, first off, the Thunderdome soundtrack is like nothing but wailing saxophone, like cliche 80s, like Tina Turner wailing saxophone soundtrack. And then his wife plays the saxophone in the first movie.
Good God, you're right, Carl. It's the sex connection.
Because that's the first thing I realized, because I watched them kind of close together. I was like, oh man, they're kind of tying it together. Like, you know, they almost implied that, like, oh, Tina Turner's going to be a love interest. Look at this, saxophone's playing on. No. But that's for later discussion. But right now we are talking Mad Max.
Mad Max. So
the franchise.
The franchise. So the franchise continues. The trailer was just revealed at Comic-Con 2014. Did you get a chance to see it, Carl?
911, where's your emergency?
It's the oil, stupid. It's the oil.
Security forces will use all measures.
The world is almost out of water.
Water wars.
We are killing for gasoline.
Getting close to the terminal freakout point.
My name is Max. My world is fire and blood.
Yeah, I got to see it. It was pretty cool. I first off, I want to say visually, it's really building upon what they did in the first 3 movies, because you can definitely see. Was it George Miller was the director? Is that right?
Mm-hmm.
You can definitely see George Miller growing as a director in those 3 films. Mad Max, the first one, you know, it had some little goofy things, but overall it was really well done. And then each one progressively got better and more stylized. And this one just looks over the top. I mean, like, but in a good way. It's like, it seems like a natural continuation of how he's been telling stories in this universe. And I'm really excited. I want to see it. So.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't bothered by the recasting of Tom Hardy because, you know, I understand that, you know, for the franchise to go on, you sometimes need to do a bit of a reboot. I know it happens a lot these days.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of room to play in Mad Max's world, and Mel Gibson's gone off the fucking rails and onto the blacklist.
Mm-hmm.
So there's that. You know, initially last year or the year before, 2 years ago actually, 2 years ago, they first displayed the new Interceptor, and that of course got my blood pumping. But now seeing the trailer, like you said, the visuals are on point. They're not. They're still well within that world. Everything is still operating in the world that he created, over 20, 30 years ago. There's no crazy electronic doodads. Nobody's got LED lights under their car. There's no cyber arms or just things that just would seem out of place in that world. So that really makes me happy. The directing style has definitely evolved to it's a little more 300. Let's just call it what it is. But you have to realize what today's audiences are going to be expecting.
And of course, it's a trailer, so they only showed us really action scenes, and they're going to show us like the biggest and the baddest. Come and see this fucking movie. It has a huge dick. You're just like, whoa! So I mean, of course, they're going to give you as many like visual money shots as they can. In the trailer. So it wouldn't surprise me if it isn't like what you're saying, like a little bit of 300 sort of over-the-top action. But again, like I said, they also might just be showing us like the peaks, like those really high moments. Everything else might be a little bit more subtle. But like we'll just have to wait for the movie to really find out. But even if it is like an over-the-top sort of 300 action flick, I think I'd be on board with it. I mean, that was one thing that they always did really well in these movies, especially in the first one, was like car chases and action sequences, because those car chases in the first Mad Max are just crazy over the top, like, and you're like, man, how'd they make it look so good? And you're like, well, because they just fucking wrecked cars and other cars. Like, there was nothing fancy about it. Like, they seriously just went out there and like, man, like didn't like some people get seriously injured doing the stunts and stuff for it and stuff? It's like crazy, man.
Not as many as you think, but they're lucky and they're also Australian, so that's just how they make them down there. But one thing that all the previous three movies have in common that and again, if you listen to VR long enough, you know that I'm always harping on story and character, but all three movies had a good balance of action and story. So when you watch the trailers, all of them look just like this last trailer. All of them are just like don't, it's crazy. What is this world in this crazy fucking world? And you don't know what's going on, but you know who the hero is, and he looks as crazy and shitty as the rest of them. But all of them have a degree of heart at the center, and that's the thing about Mad Max. Is that he's a guy who's out to just do his own thing. He's lost everything, so for a long time he doesn't care. But there's always some. He's just a softie. He's a cop. Yeah. He's always going to be a cop, and he's got to help the guy that's in trouble, and that's every movie. He's especially the last two, and it looks like that's going to be the case here, where we have Charlize Theron is going to be his co-star with I'm really happy to see a very positive female force in this movie, and so he, kicking ass alongside her. But
that's something that they always really did pretty well, especially in the later two movies, was to give really strong female characters. I mean, like I don't want to get too much into it because we want to talk about the other shows later, but I mean, the other movies later, but there's always like his wife was in the first one and she's a big part and she stands up to the gangs and everything like that.
Absolutely.
Unfortunately, she pays for it in the end, but she was a strong character. And then like in the second one, you have the quite a few strong female characters in there, but there's the one I can't remember her name now, but she ended up playing Zan in Farscape.
Yeah,
and she's
unfortunately,
the bow and everything.
Yeah. She has the unfortunate moniker of Warrior Woman.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have named her, but she was still badass.
Exactly. And then you have Tina Turner, and then not only do you have Tina Turner being like the leader of the Bartertown in the third film, but if you look at her guards and everything, about half of them are women. It's like it's a very equal distribution of male and female among the badasses in that universe, and it's a really good, and it doesn't get enough credit for that, I don't think.
You're right. Even the waiting ones. When he first gets, he falls into the ranks of this tribe of lost teenagers and children.
Yeah.
It's this teenage girl that finds him, and she brings him to the tribe, and there's like a hulky male, young footballer-looking dude So the natural assumption is that he's going on this journey and he's going to be fighting next to Max, right?
Mhm.
No, his ass is at home. She's the one going out with him. So you're right. It's something I never considered until you just brought this up. And I took it for granted my whole life because they present it in a way that it wasn't a big deal that these women could hold their own. You know,
Yeah.
it's not like today where you have to have a rogue super agent who's really fucking sexy, and then the agency wants her dead. Boring! Stop making these movies. You know, this is just.
Yeah, I saw La Femme Nikita once, and then I saw it like 20 other times.
Yeah. Exactly. So they really, you're right, they absolutely have done it. Oh, don't forget about May, good old May from the farm in the first Mad Max.
And exactly, who stands up to the biker gang with nothing but a shotgun.
Yeah, braced legs, old lady, and a shotgun.
Yeah. And not only does she stand up, but she scares the shit out of him. But of course, an old woman with a shotgun, like you just don't know where that thing's going. So, but still, he's all like piss and vinegar, and like she's a strong character, and you know it's, and that's the thing is like kind of like what you said, it's subtle, but it's there. And if you know, and like I hate to say it, but like in this day and age, like that's something I look out for anymore because people make such a big deal of it. Mm-hmm. And you know, and this is a film that was doing it before it was popular, and they do it right. So.
Absolutely. So I'm looking forward to definitely more surprises like that. You know, because that's another thing about the Mad Max movies. Excuse me, I am burping. Is that the so professional? Is that the there's always little story surprises. I mean, you could say that about any movie, but they really will like paint a world, paint a scene, put you in there, and you think you know what's going on, and there's some little surprise. They just know how to think about a situation that maybe you've seen time and time again, especially when it came to Thunderdome, where they're playing around in a genre that they basically created and was exploited and copied a million times over, and they still had originality and lots of little nuggets. I mean, I'm just going to say Master Blaster. Everything about Master Blaster, who would have thought?
And it's brilliant. It's such a great juxtaposition as far as character goes.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm really excited to see because a lot of the same people are still involved with it. You know, George Miller, he co-wrote it. Nico Lathoris or something of that nature. He actually was a character in the first films. I'm not sure which character he was. I looked it up one day, and so it's actually someone that was actually involved with it. You know, he's been involved with it since the first film, and now he's helping co-write it. You know, so there's a lot of stuff you know going on with that. And then they got Brendan McCarthy, who has written for 2000 AD and a bunch of other comics, the Law Judge Dredd stuff. He's coming in to help co-write the story. So they got a lot of potential as far as story goes. George Miller is still directing it, so it should have a pretty consistent visual style. So, I mean, if nothing else, I think it's going to fit well in this universe, and hopefully it really just excels and it's a great movie. But I do know you had a question, I don't know if you talked about it on the show, but we were talking about it, when this movie's supposed to take place, because you said oh well, you see the Interceptor get trashed,
right.
V8 gets trashed, and you're like, well, it's trashed at the end of Road Warrior, and and all that stuff. Supposedly this is supposed to take place between Mad Max and Road Warrior.
Okay.
So I don't know if them showing the Interceptor getting wrecked in the trailer is just a little bit of a teaser. It's not going to be in the film, or if there's some way they work around it. Maybe he finds another one. Who knows? Because there is some slight differences between the two cars, between Mad Max and Road Warrior, that's not explained.
Sure.
So I mean, it has a different blower on it, things of that nature. So he might have found one of the other ones and salvaged it. Who knows? But yeah, so timeline-wise, that's where that one's supposed to, that's what I've heard. It's supposed to take place in between Mad Max and Road Warrior. So. Right
on. Well, that is I'm excited about all of it. Whether they trash the Interceptor or not, I'm just gonna be really stoked to be in the theater watching this thing all over again. Cool. But yeah, we're gonna come back tomorrow and talk go all the way back to the beginning, Mad Max, late 70s dystopian granddaddy of post-apocalyptic movies.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So yeah, join us then. Meanwhile, if you want to drop us a line and tell us about this show, this thing. Anyway, yeah, everything about us can be found at www.vorradio.com. So links to the voicemail, the Republicom, or our email, and also our Facebook group that is always active, always friendly. 90% friendly, yeah. But yeah, we're always there, and we're gonna hang out with you and just shoot some shit.
Yeah.
Check us out.
So check out vorradio.com. Go to the Facebook group. But until then, may the Force
be with
that half.